We need to prepare for war against China. I don't mean go to war. I don't mean initiate a war, but they are preparing for war. We are completely unprepared as a nation psychologically. We are completely unprepared economically and immigration-wise and securing our border. This is what we put up with. It's absolutely unbelievable. That's it. I'm done.
That animated guy, who certainly looks like he's ill-prepared psychologically, is conservative talk show host Mark Levin, who got a round of applause on Sean Hannity's show from Sean Hannity's live in studio audience. I guess that's a thing now on his show. Yeah. Anyway, as he was calling for not necessarily a direct war with China right now. He claims we just need to prepare for war with China. So
yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah, so more warmongering rhetoric coming from right-wing talk show hosts. And he's just one of many right-wingers, which include people like Steve Bannon, who are very much in favor of drumming up war with China, which is ill-advised. I'll explain why in just a minute. Cenk.
That's weird. I thought the right wing was against war, and that's why people like Glenn Greenwald and Tulsi Gabbard were supporting them. It seems like they're massively in favor of war. By the way, when you prepare, should you prepare defenses? Of course, you should always have defenses, right? But when you prepare for war, a lot of times you get war because of what you're doing. You're pushing forward, you're militarizing, you're antagonizing, etc. But I want to just say, we do $850 billion a year for the defense budget, but we're not psychologically prepared?
No, it's no. He also later will claim that the military isn't getting the resources it needs. We're gonna debunk that. We've got the receipts. But before we do, why don't we hear more from his hysterical rant?
China hasn't built the biggest navy on the face of the earth, military islands in the South China Sea, over 27 bases of different kinds in our hemisphere, a deep water naval base in Somalia, where my great uncle fought on Guadalcanal. You have China with a base on the western coast of Africa facing us, killer satellites, nuclear missiles. You think they're building all that to defeat Taiwan? They're building all that to defeat us. They're not gonna be satisfied with Taiwan.
No evidence of that whatsoever, but it's meant to instill fear in the viewers, to make them think that China's coming for us, it's not gonna stop with Taiwan. Again, not a shred of evidence proving that. Also, what do you think the United States is doing, has been doing for many, many decades in regard to building up its military capabilities? And is he alleging that China has built its military capability to an extent that it has surpassed the United States? Because that would be a lie as well.
Yeah, so they have satellites, they have nuclear missiles, they have a couple of bases across the world. What do you think we have? We have more satellites, more nuclear missiles, and way more bases across the world.
We're ill-prepared, Cenk.
So we're not psychologically prepared though. Okay, if we spend another $850 billion on his defense contractor friends, then all of a sudden we might be psychologically prepared.
Does that guy look psychologically prepared for anything?
Come on, dude, his head looks like a naval base that we've got off the coast of Africa, okay? So, but anyways, but the thing that look, I get it. This is old school conservatives.
This is a neocon.
Exactly, and Mark Levin has always been a neocon. He loved the Iraq war, and he now wants to start more wars. But right-wing populists, where are you? Where are you? I thought you guys were against war. So do you love Mark Levin or do you hate Mark Levin? Hey, Tucker Carlson, you pretend to be against war. There's Mark Levin on your network saying, well, you gotta go war with China, like a freaking lunatic.
So look, this is a little bit different from the lead up to the war in Iraq, because in the lead up to that preemptive war in Iraq, the Bush administration was lying to the American people about how, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction and they're a real threat, an imminent threat to the United States. And that's how they decided to drum up support for that illegal war. I mention that because that is exactly what Mark Levin is doing. It's a little different because it's not the actual government doing it, but if we had a right-wing executive branch right now, would they be parroting that talking point, that ridiculous unfounded talking point that China is preparing for a hot war with the United States. I mean, and look, to be sure, the Biden administration has used a lot of hawkish rhetoric in response to China, in regard to China. And I find that problematic as well, because we should be de-escalating to the best of our ability. I think a lot of this is driven by economic competition and the fact that China's doing or growing economically much faster than expected. We helped them do that by shipping our jobs over to China to exploit cheap labor. And now, oh my gosh, what did we do? All of a sudden, they're becoming more and more of a hegemonic force. With all of that said, I do want to go to the last clip featuring Levin, because this is where he tries to make the case that our military, under-resourced.
Our military is not prepared in the sense that they're pushing this woke ideology. Our military budgets do not reflect the threats that we are facing in the world around us. I want to say it again, so the backbenchers regurgitate it. We must prepare for war against China, not because we want war, not because we're going to cause war, but because they want war. They've only communicated it 10,000 different ways, whether it's violating our airspace, navigable waters, threatening our ships, threatening our country, threatening our people. What else can they do short of attacking? They're not going to be satisfied with Taiwan. This is a big damn deal.
This is a big damn deal. I do not feel threatened by the Chinese government. I have never felt that they have threatened me or the American people. When Levin mentions how they like violated our airspace, I'm assuming he's referring to the surveillance balloon.
Yeah, the one balloon, and then we shot down a whole bunch of balloons that weren't theirs,
right?
Including
we showed them.
Yeah, a couple of kids' balloons. But so look, there's two things that I like there. Number one, the lies that he made up. They're threatening our ships. Really? That would have been fairly large news if China said, you know what, we're going to sink one of your ships. That would have been gigantic news, right? They're threatening our country. When? When did China threaten to attack us? You're nonstop threatening to attack them on national television, on America, on the largest cable news station. That we see very clearly. We have not seen Chinese state government. We have not seen their state media. We've not seen anyone calling for an attack against America. So Mark Levin is a liar. He's lying so that his friends who are defense contractors can get billions of dollars more and stuff it into their pockets and rob the American people. No. And he's, they're threatening our people. Again, lie after lie after lie to start wars, because that's what right-wingers do. But that's the second part. He said, I'm gonna repeat this so that the backbenchers can regurgitate it. So right-wing populists who are anti-war, go ahead, regurgitate his talking points like a bitch. Okay. Go ahead, he's telling you. Go ahead, go back to being pro-war. Go ahead. Or do you disagree? No, you can't disagree with a right winger, right? Bow your heads.
So a few things that I want to draw a distinction of. So it's nuanced. China is not posing a threat to the United States, at least in terms of starting a hot war. Now, is there some reason to believe that China could be making moves to take over Taiwan? There is some evidence to that. Okay, so for instance, Levin's remarks came on the third day of Chinese military drills that have been taking place pretty close to Taiwan. Taiwan, of course, is self-governing, but China does not want it to be autonomous. And so there is some concern that China eventually will invade and take control. That is different from China posing an imminent threat or any real national security risk to the United States. I also want to address a few other things, including the military funding. His argument about, our military is ill-prepared, they're woke. I don't know what that means. He needs to be specific, because just slapping the woke label on everything that you don't like makes zero sense and is not a strong argument. But in terms of military funding, let's look at this first graph that shows you how year after year, military spending has gone up. Okay, so there was a little bit of a dip during the Obama administration, but that didn't last long. And if you want exact numbers, let's go to the next graphic, where you will see that especially beginning in 2017, right? So we raised the military budget in 2017 from $639 billion to $646 billion. And then every consecutive year after that, consistently, Congress appropriates more and more money for the defense budget. So how many billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, do we need to reach $1 trillion for Mark Levin and all of the other military contractors to feel prepared for a potential war with China, which we should do everything and anything to avoid? Okay, that should be the real objective here. But of course they don't want that. They want to drum up war with any country if it's financially beneficial for the defense contractors. The United States has also been selling military weapons to China's adversaries. And if the United States is selling weapons to places like Japan and Australia, you might get a little concerned about that. You might want to make sure you, as the Chinese government and the Chinese military, are prepared in case the United States does something.
Yeah, so look, unfortunately, politics in America is black and white. So here we're gonna do nuance no matter what anybody thinks. Number one, we don't think the Chinese government are good guys, okay? So could they have bad intent towards Taiwan? Of course. Do they have bad intents toward the Uygur Muslims that they have in concentration camps? Of course, right? Is it basically a dictatorship? Yes. Does that mean we should start World War III? No, it does not mean that, okay? So if you're China, you might be a bad guy in regards to the concentration camps, etc. But as you see weapons popping up in Japan, Taiwan is surrounding you, right? What would you do if it was us? We saw weapons of our people who keep saying we're the enemy, right? And all of a sudden they're funding missiles in Canada and Mexico and Cuba. Oh, right, even just Cuba, we nearly started World War III.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
And Cenk, it's important for you guys to know the specific details. We're not just pulling this out of whatever. Japan, for instance, an adversary to China, announced its plan to embark on a 5-year, $320 billion military buildup to secure offensive strike capacity amid growing regional tensions. Japan faces the severest and most complicated national security environment since the end of World War II, according to the new blueprint unveiled by the Prime Minister of Japan. It's a more conservative government, which named China as the biggest strategic challenge, followed by North Korea. Where do you think they're buying the weapons from? They're buying the weapons from the United States. Of course, the US is happy to oblige. Japan plans to buy long-range weapons capable of striking China, including hundreds of Lockheed Martin's Tomahawk land attack missiles and joint air-to-surface standoff missiles, a boon for one of the biggest players in the powerful US arms industry, which is already poised to rake in hundreds of billions of dollars in public money following Congress's passage of an $858 billion military budget for this fiscal year, 2023. And that's not all. Same goes for Australia. Apparently the US announced its plans to deploy up to 6 nuclear-capable B-52 bombers to northern Australia, where they would be close enough to strike China. So if you are the leader of China, if you are part of the Chinese government, and all the US is making all these moves, all your adversaries are building up their military capability, what do you think you're gonna wanna do? So it's right now, it's really like an arms race. It's a bit of a Cold War, and we wanna prevent it from devolving into a hot war that's gonna get innocent people killed.
Yeah, so look, I keep getting in the face of the right wingers. Steve Bannon had similar comments about how we have to be ready for World War III. So if you disagree with Mark Levin and Steve Bannon, say it. You guys aren't usually shy right wingers, right? So, and make up your mind. Are you against World War III? Like the Jimmy Dores of the world who kissed Tucker Carlson's ass and right wing ass because he claims that they're against war. Now it looks like they're pushing for World War III. So are you against it or are you for it? Which one is it? We've been clear all along. We're against the war. We don't want World War III against Russia or China. And why do the right wingers? One of our members just made this comment, great comment. So the right wingers are like, we can't arm Ukraine, the poor Russians.
Such a great
Plus,
point.
we don't want World War III. That's ridiculous. Oh, Taiwan, let's go arm the living crap out of them so we can go have World War III with a larger power, China. Well, how does that make any consistent sense at all? It doesn't. Guys, you're getting played. You're getting played by the same guys, the defense contractors, and you're gonna funnel more money to them, and you're gonna start more wars and get more people killed.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.